What's up everyone and welcome to this tutorial, and in this video we'll be learning how to actually get our element using a CSS selector and also an Xpath. We're going to learn how to actually create our own Xpath. So let's actually get started, and we're going to use the same example that we used from the last tutorial, but instead of using class name, we're actually going to use CSS selector. So let's actually go back to our Google website and then inspect that element. So let me zoom in a little bit for you guys so you guys can see better. So in this example, we have a class, we have an ID, we have multiple things that we can actually use, right? But if you right click and do copy as a selector, Google does the job for you and actually gives you a nice selector, which is hash lst-ib, which is the ID. So you can use for CSS selector, you can use an ID or you can use a class, for example. So for a class, you can use dot and then the name of the class. And for ID, you can use hash and then the name of this. So let's actually go back to our project. And in this case, this was a class. So we can put a dot and then run this pretty quickly. And it will actually do the same exact thing. It will do the printing and the send keys and all of that stuff. So it did that. Also, if we do the hash, which is for the ID, we can do the same exact thing. And the reason I'm teaching you guys multiple ways, because you will definitely get to a point one day that you won't have a lot of options to use. And knowing all these options will definitely help you to avoid problems and troubleshoot problems as well. So that's how to do for the CSS selector. Let's do an Xpath, which is actually my favorite one. So actually my favorite is Xpath, and then next comes the CSS selector if it's available. So if I do an Xpath, I usually create my own. So for this example, I have an input. So what I do, I will actually write something around these lines. So let me inspect it again. So I have an input and I have a class and I have this value, right? And how Xpath work, it takes the HTML tag and then we take the name of the class or the name of the attribute and then the value of it. So I will write 2 slashes and you put the name of the tag, the HTML tag. You open a bracket, you write at class equal to single quotation. You paste that value of that attribute. You put another single quotation. You close that bracket and voila, you get that one right here. And if you notice, you actually have 3 of them, which is a problem that you might encounter, and I'm actually going to give you the answer right here how to actually avoid that. If you put the whole thing in parentheses and write bracket 1 and another bracket, it actually marks the first one that comes in the page, which is the one that you actually want. So that's for Xpath. You can do Xpath for text as well, which I'm going to cover in the next tutorial, and I'm also going to cover other types of Xpaths that you can use, but this is the best way to use, and you create it with your own, so you can actually play with it as much as you want. So that's it for this tutorial, and I'm going to cover more examples of Xpath in the next tutorial. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and let me know if you have any questions. Have a great day.